Good day, fellow peasants! In this video I want to talk about something that is quite near and dear to me, and fills me with an absolute tsunami of rage whenever I think about it. You'd be surprised at how many people have little to no understanding of what this institution is and its purpose, and I am of course talking about the Federal Reserve. I want to keep this video a bit shorter, so I'll try my best to be brief. So what is the Federal Reserve, or the Fed, as a lot of people like to call it? According to Investopedia, the Federal Reserve System is the central bank of the United States, often simply called the Fed. It is arguably the most powerful financial institution in the world. It was founded to provide the country with a safe, flexible, and stable monetary and financial system. The Fed has a board that is comprised of 7 members. There are also 12 Federal Reserve banks with their own presidents that represent a separate district. The most important thing to remember is that the Fed is made up of 7 unelected, unaccountable board of directors. It is not federal, meaning part of the federal government. To some of you might not know that. It is a private institution. They have the power to create money out of thin air and issue it to banks and the government with interest. Yes, you heard that right. They create money out of nothing, lend it out, and make more money with the interest. Most of you are saying, oh, hey, wait a minute. If I wanted to put my money to work to hopefully make more money, I would have to have money to begin with to invest it. You would be 100% correct. The idea that a very powerful private institution is in charge of our country's entire money supply, the ability to inflate and deflate currency and cause economic booms or busts at will, is quite a terrifying notion.
3 things in this world you don't do. Never mess with another man's woman. Never mess with another man's ego. And most importantly, you never mess with another man's money. Else, a man will mess with you.
My God! You hung him?
Yes, pal. Oh, we hung him. We hung him high. And do you know why?
Well, because he was a thief?
Because, pal, an evil invention was born. Man discovered how to turn worthless paper into gold. Thus was invented the ultimate machine to steal real money and enslave all the nations on Earth. It's alive!
So how does the Fed work in practice? Firstly, the Fed issues currency to private banks or the government with interest. The banks, in turn, issue loans to consumers with more interest than what the Fed charged, of course, so the bank can make money. The consumers, in turn, spend their money providing tax revenue to the government so the government can pay off the Federal Reserve. Yes, the Federal Reserve creates money and it makes money for nothing. And depending on circumstances, the government will tax the people even more so it can make enough money to pay off the Fed. Another way the government obtains revenue is by issuing treasury bonds. The banks buy the bonds from the government that gives the bank interest payments from the government over a period of time. When the Fed has caused too much inflation, the government is compelled to create and enforce hidden taxes the average person will have to pay so the government can pay off the Federal Reserve because of the inflation they caused. Okay, that sounds pretty bad, but it's not the end of the world. At least they keep our economy going, you might be saying. Well, wait just a minute. This whole system is not just the Federal Reserve. No. It is made up of an entire cabal of elites, corporations, special interests, and banks that benefit from this corrupt system. It's like a you scratch my back, I scratch your back kind of deal, except, the average person is not in that equation. They are all part of a very tight-knit club. When the Fed initiates a recession, the market crashes and value plummets. The elites, corporations, and banksters buy everything up for pennies on the dollar. Why do you think the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer? Does anybody remember Vanguard and BlackRock, how BlackRock is buying up entire communities? All these corporations are just gobbling everything up, and it seems like the average person is left, holding the bag. Like they can't buy their homes because it's all being bought up. Whatever. I digress. It's all part of the game. The banks get bailed out with taxpayer dollars made possible through the fake money the Fed printed for nothing. And the corporations feel the sting, but nevertheless recover from endless bank loans they got from the Fed. And obviously, not every corporation survives, but it is in the interest of the Federal Reserve to keep that money going, keep business going, right? So you can't, too big to fail. They can't let, really big companies like Amazon and Apple or these car companies, they can't let them go under, because then, you know, they don't want to kill their own cash cow, so they'll bail them out, keep it going. But as for the average person, smaller business or anything like that, fuck them. They don't give a fuck about you, right? And it's obvious once you actually learn this and you see it, you can tell. So the next time you hear "we can't afford it" from a politician, it's a total goddamn lie. The truth is the government can't afford anything because the money is created out of thin air by the Fed. They have the ability to help the people, the homeless, the sick, the dying, single mothers, fathers, veterans, alone and forgotten, waiting to die in a dark VA hallway. Yes, they can help these people. We can actually solve these problems, but no, that would actually be bad for business. A happy, healthy, and prosperous population is not as useful as a sick, tired, depressed, and broke one. Debt equals profit. Remember that. Debt equals profit. Now, this is a topic that I cannot possibly fully cover in my time constraints. There's a lot more that I'd like to say. There's a lot of more finer points, but I kind of want to get the general idea out. I did my best, and I hope that it wasn't too confusing and that you at least learned something. And before we go, I want to tell you about 2 books that I want to recommend to everyone to check out. A History of Central Banking and the Enslavement of Mankind by Stephen Goodson. This book is kind of a lot more broad, goes over a lot more history, specifically focusing on central banks internationally, as well as in the United States. A lot of really good information there. And then the next book is The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. Now this one specifically focuses on the Federal Reserve. Both books are absolutely great, and I seriously recommend that everybody needs to read this. Everybody should read this. They have a ton of good information, and quite honestly, when I actually read them, it shocked me when I found out. So that's it. Anyways, thanks for listening, and I will see you peasants later.